Okay, in this video we are going to study about EEB3210, EEB3210, EEB3210 theory of electricity. In this video we are going to study about EEB3210, 3210, EEB3210 theory of electricity. Model paper, Cat 1 model paper, which was uploaded by our lecturer. We can discuss about for our Cat 1 exam. Okay. Now let's read the question. Question one, number one. A 60 watt to 120 volt light bulb and a 200 watt, 120 volt light bulb are connected in series. These are important. 60 watt, 120 volt light bulb, 200 200 watt, 120 volt light bulb. There are two light bulbs are connected in series across a 240 volt line. Well, 240 volt line, AC source or DC source, DC, AC voltage or DC voltage. Don't confuse about that. Okay, we don't need to consider about because okay, the light bulb is assumed to be a purest. The light bulb is assumed to be a purest. What is the meaning of this statement? The light bulb is assumed to be a, this is the light bulb. This light bulb is assumed to be a pure resistor. This is the resistor, no? This is the real resistor. Pure, what is the meaning of pure resistor? According to this statement, we can use there are two very important there are two very important equations in electrical engineering, electrical. That one is according to the Ohm's law. According to the Ohm's law, according to the Ohm's law. According to the Ohm's law, the equation is we already know V is equal to IR. This is a very important uh, equation we will use in many areas in level 3, not only in level 3, in level 4, level 5. Is very important uh, equation. The another example is power equation. PV is equal to VI. P is equal to VI. We get P is equal to VI. V is equal to IR. We already know. Therefore, we don't need to memorize very hardly. It's very simple. See, sometimes students are confused in this equation. Whether P is equal to VI or V is equal to PI. They are confused in this. Therefore, please memorize that Pavani. For example, Bhavani. P is equal to Bhavani. Okay, please memorize this name Bhavani. P is equal to V into I. Therefore, you will not confused in equation. In exam times, you will be confused in tension. Therefore, sometimes you will confused about the equation. Therefore, please memorize this name Bhavani. P is equal to V into I. P is equal to V into I Bhavani. This is the small tricks. Okay, therefore there are according to this statement, the light bulb is assumed to be a pure resistor. We can use these two equations here very quickly. One is Ohm's law, V is equal to IR, then P is equal to VI. Okay, now now this description of a light bulb gives the power it dissipates when connected to the stated potential difference. That is the description of a light bulb. The description. What are the descriptions? 60 watt, 120 volt and 200 volt and 112 to 120 volt. That are the descriptions. Okay, first we have to understand the question. Someone don't understand the question. There are maybe small tricks. May change the answer and calculation steps. That's why I discuss. I teach you very slowly, step by step. Okay, we don't need to do 100 questions. We have to do at least 10 questions with understanding. You must understand at least one question. That is why I am teaching you step by step. Okay, please study patiently. The video may be long. Therefore, I will divide the video part 1, part 2, part 3. Okay. Now this description of a light bulb, that the description one, description, this is the description one, this is the description two. The description of a light bulb gives the power It dissipates when connected to the stated potential difference. That is, for example, that is the meaning. That is, 25 watt 120 volt light bulb dissipates 25 watt when connected to a 25 line. For example, the meaning is there is a bulb. Okay. For example, there is a bulb. You may you may see in the in real life, in practical life, you may see in the books of the bulb. You may see that the width of the bulb, for example, 25 watt, comma 240 volt. Uh, uh, if you see in the books of the bulb, you can see this description of the bulb 25 volt, 20 volt bulb. What is the meaning of this? That is the explanation of our statement. Okay, this is the 20. Now we are going to discuss about what is the meaning of this statement. Okay, what is the meaning of this statement? Okay, the meaning is, if you give, this is the light bulb, if you give 240 volt, it will give you 25 watt. That is the meaning. If you give 240 volt only, it will give you 25 watt power. If you give two 230 volt, sorry, 230 volt or 100 volt, you will not get the 25 watt. That is the meaning. If you want to get 25 watt power output power, you must give 240 volt. That is the meaning. Okay. Now, okay, we have understood the meaning of the question. Now let's move to the next question. Question one A is part A is, what is the power input from the source? What is the power input from the source? Now let's discuss. Okay, what is the power input? P. P input. They ask about P input from the source. Now let's draw the diagram according to our question. First statement says that there are two bulbs. No, there are two bulbs. They are connected in series. There are two bulbs. They are connected in. There are two bulbs. They are connected in series. Uh, uh, across 240 volt. Oh yes, 240 volt uh, input source, voltage source. It may be AC source or DC source. We don't need to consider about. Okay, we don't need to consider about whether it is AC source or DC source. They have stated in the question. They have already stated that the light bulb is assumed to be a pure resistor. Therefore, we can use these equations. Okay, what equation we can use? V is equal to IR. V is equal to IR, then P is equal to VI Pavani. Okay, P is equal to VI. What are the description of first bulb? This is the first bulb. This is the second bulb. First 60 watt, 60 watt, comma 120 volt. What is the meaning? If we give 120 volt to this bulb, across this bulb, we will get 60 watt output. What is the description of second bulb? 200 watt, 200 watt, comma 120 volt, which means if we want to get 200 watt output power, we must give 220 volt across this second bulb. Okay. Now let's move. Now we have drawn the diagram according to our question. This is very important. They have, please write diagram before any question. It will be easy. I don't need to read the questions again and again. It will take too much time, and it will be easy to quickly understand. You will not confuse quickly. Okay. Therefore, please draw the diagram. Now we have to get uh, another equation from this equation. These two equations. Okay, this is the Ohm's law. This is the power equation, we have to get derive a new equation to do this question, because we don't know input current. We don't know the current. No, we only know uh, voltage and power. They only gave with power P, this word no. They only gave P and V. Therefore, we have to we have to uh, we have to substitute instead of I. We have to derive a new equation without I. That is the thing we are going to do now. Please, now we use this equation. P is equal to Vi Bhavani. So now we don't want I because we don't know I. We don't know what is I. Okay, therefore now we substitute another equation instead of I. Now P is equal to V into what is I? V is equal to IR. Then I is equal to V by R. This R will be go under V as denominator. Therefore I is equal to V by R. Therefore we substitute V by R. V by R instead of I. Therefore E is equal to power is equal to V square by R. This is the equation. There is no I in this equation. Therefore, we can use this equation directly, easily. Therefore, we derive this equation. We only memorize two equations. PV is equal to V is equal to IR and P is equal to VI for this this question. Don't need to don't memorize everything. Okay, you will confuse. Only memorize these two very simple equations. You can modify this according to the question. Now, how we how did we modify this equation? Because we don't know I. Therefore, we substitute another equation instead of I. Okay. Therefore, we get P is equal to V is square by R. Now, okay. In the question, they have they have told that the light bulb is assumed to be a pure resistor. The light bulb is assumed to be a pure resistor, which means, let's move to the question answer. Okay. Already we discussed about uh, what gross. Okay, this is the bulb one, bulb two. They told us in the question that the light bulb is assumed to be a pure resistor. Therefore, we can consider the light bulb as resistors, which is we can consider the light bulbs as resistors. These are resistors. We already know in O level, A level time. The symbol of resistor is like there, 240 volt. There will be resistor, uh, resistor. Okay, it will be like don't don't. Okay, resistor. Okay, resistor. Now all told that we can consider the light bulb as resistors. Therefore, it's the light bulb one, R1. Okay, R1, R2. Now we can calculate R1, R2 according to our derived equation, because finally we derived the equation P, P, uh, P is equal to V square by R. Now we derive this equation. P is equal to V square by R. Now R is what is R? R is equal to V square by V. The V will be go as denominator and R will go as um, um, uh, will come to the P place. Therefore, R is equal to V square by P. Now, what is R1? R1 means resistor. We can consider the bulbs as resistors. Now we can consider like this. Okay, don't please forget this diagram. Now just this very simple diagram. Okay. Now R1 is equal to V square by P. We already know what is V. The voltage of 120 volt, 140 volt square whole square divided by what is power 60 watt. How did we write from equation? They have already give 60 watt, 120 volt. Another is 200 watt and 120 volt. That is I am using. Okay, don't confuse. Now, guys. Okay, let's. I think we have missed. Okay, we can discuss about a new slide. Okay, now there are two resistors across. There are two resistors across 240 volt. This is R1. This is R2. R1 is equal. R is equal to B square by B. Now we discuss about this. We derive finally R is equal to V square by V. Now R is equal to what is V? R1. R1 is equal to what is V1? What is V1? V1 is uh, what is the voltage of fixed bulb? That is 120 volt. 120 volt. But V is here no. Therefore 120 volts whole square divided by what is the power of the 60 watt 60 watt power of the bulb is 60 watt. Okay, if we give, if what is the meaning of this, if we give 120 volt across this bulb, we will get 60 watt. Yeah, that is why we use. Okay, if we give 120 volt across the bulb 1, 120 volt, if we give 220 volt across this bulb 1, we will get the output power 60 watt. Therefore we can easily quickly substitute here. Okay, R1 is equal to 120 volt is divided by 60 watt. Therefore R1 is equal to what, if we 120 into 120 divided by 60. If we 2, therefore R1 is equal to 120 into 2, 240 ohm. 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 You already know the symbol of resistor, 240 ohm. Therefore R1 is equal to 240 ohm. Therefore we find the R1 is equal to 240 ohm. Now we have to find the R2. That is same in same way. R2 is equal to what is the voltage RV? R2 is equal to, that is V is equal to 140 20 volt, same voltage 120 volt, but width is 200 watt. We only substitute their data. Okay, we didn't get see, from any equation. Okay, we that just we substitute their data, given data 120 volt square. Don't forget to oh, multiply by don't forget square. Okay, while substituting 100 V square by B, 120 volt, 120 volt, 100 in 120 volts square divided by 200 watt, which will be R2 is equal to 70 ohm. If you calculate, if you calculate this, finally you will get 72 ohm. This is the final answer. Okay, now R2 is equal to 72 ohm. R2 is equal to 72 ohm. Okay, now very simple. Now what is the question? Question is, what is the power input? Sorry, this question is, what is the power input from the source? What is the power input? Power input. How much power we input to this diagram? How much power? We input 240 volt. Now we have to find P. How can we find the P? We already derived the equation. P is equal to V square by R. We can't use P is equal to VI here directly because we didn't find the I. Okay, we can find the I, but it will take too much time. Please go through easy method. There you can minimize the time of the you can minimize the time at the exam. You have to do the exam in specific time. No, therefore please go through easy step. Therefore, P is equal to V square by R. P input source. Now we have to find P input from source. From source. P input from source. Now we have to find this is the best question. T input from source, that is the question, is equal to V source. V source whole square divided by R. Okay. What is the V source? V source is equal to 240 volt. Source voltage. That is V source means voltage of the source. Voltage of the source is 240 volt. Whole square. Don't forget to uh, don't forget to forget the square. Okay. Sometimes the students don't put square. Therefore, we will get the wrong answer. Okay. Divided by what is R? R is R total. Now we find total input now. We P input from source. What is the power of input source? Total input power. Now we are finding what is the input power from source. Total input power. Therefore, V source whole carried by R total. V source is already given 240 volt. What is R total? That is we find from R1 and R2. This is R1, this is R2. The resistors are connected in series. They have the final R total is equal to R1 plus R2. If the resistors are in parallel like this, if the resistors are in parallel like this, okay, 240 volt. Sometimes they may ask like that in our get exam. They may ask the question. The bulbs are connected in parallel. Therefore, please refer this also. That's why uh, we can discuss about all the things. Okay, we don't need to focus on only one question. We discuss about another part also. Therefore, if they ask like that question also, we can answer about that question. This is R1, R2. Therefore, here R total will be one by R total. We already know this equation. Sometimes if, you may forget this equation. That's why I memorize again. Okay, I remember again. R total is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. For this parallel circuit, R is equal 1 by R total is equal to R1 1 by R1 plus R2. R1 R1 R2 R1 R2 R2 plus R1 1 by R total. These are very small. Therefore, R total is equal to R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. If they give the diagram, if they say that the bulbs are connected in parallel, we must use this equation for R total. Now the bulbs are connected in series, therefore it's very easy to find. Then the R total is equal to R1 plus R2, R1 plus R2, R1 plus R2. R1 is equal to 240 ohm, 240 ohm, 72 ohm R2. Therefore, 240 ohm plus R total is equal to 240 ohm plus 72 ohm. Okay, if you calculate, you will get finally the answer will be 184. E input, E input from source, E input from source is equal to E input from source. That is input power of the source. P input from source is equal to, if we calculate, you will get the final answer that 184, 184, 184.62. Sorry, oh yes, yes, 184.62. But the answer of first question, 184, 84.62 watt. That is the answer of first question. What is the power input from the source? Okay. Yeah. In next video, we can discuss about the part B question. Okay. The video is going very long. Therefore, we can discuss it because there are many methods to find this equation. Okay. There are many methods to find the answers. I just give you easy method to find. Okay, some we can discuss another methods also in second video. Okay, if there are any easy method, I will we can discuss in second video. Okay, okay.